Warning, viewer discretion advised. This video contains content that may be disturbing or triggering to some viewers. It includes detailed descriptions of violent crimes, graphic imagery, and discussions of sensitive topics such as murder, assault, and other criminal activities. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. If you are sensitive to such content, please consider watching another video. Stay safe and take care of your mental health. In this episode of 22, we dive into one of India's most perplexing and controversial cases, the 2008 Noida double murder. We explore the lives of the victims, the chaotic investigation, the media frenzy, and the subsequent trial that captivated the nation. Join us as we unravel the mystery behind the deaths of Aarushi Talwar and Hemraj Banjade, and examine the broader implications of this case on the Indian justice system. Aarushi Talwar was a bright and vivacious 13-year-old girl, the only child of prominent dentists Dr. Rajesh and Dr. Nupur Talwar. She attended Delhi Public School in Noida and was known for her friendly and outgoing nature. Aarushi enjoyed reading, photography, and spending time with her friends and family. Hemraj Banjade, a 45-year-old native of Nepal, worked as a live-in domestic help for the Talwar family. He was responsible for various household chores and was considered trustworthy and reliable by the Talwars. Hemraj had been working with the family for a few years and had left his own family back in Nepal to support them financially. The lives of these two individuals intersected tragically in May 2008, leading to a murder case that would expose flaws in the investigative process and ignite a media storm in India. On the morning of May 16, 2008, the Talwar household in Noida was enveloped in a horrific discovery. Aarushi Talwar was found murdered in her bedroom, lying in a pool of blood. She had been brutally assaulted, her throat slit with surgical precision. The Talwars' initial reaction was one of profound shock and disbelief, and they immediately suspected their domestic help, Hemraj Banjade. However, the case took a perplexing turn the next day. Hemraj's body was discovered on the terrace of the Talwar residence, partially decomposed and concealed under a cooler panel. Similar to Aarushi, Hemraj had suffered a violent death, his throat also slit. The police investigation began under a cloud of confusion and mishandling. The crime scene was not secured properly, leading to the contamination of potential evidence. Initial police theories suggested that Hemraj had murdered Aarushi and then fled, but the discovery of his body shattered the narrative, casting suspicion on those within the household. This double murder case quickly spiraled into a complex web of theories and speculations, marking the beginning of one of India's most controversial and high-profile investigations. Initially, the police suspected Hemraj of killing Aarushi, but this theory collapsed with the discovery of Hemraj's body. The focus then shifted to the Talwar family and their acquaintances. The police explored several theories, including honor killing, an extramarital affair, and a botched burglary. Each theory brought its own set of suspects, from domestic workers to family friends. Attention soon centered on Aarushi's parents, Dr. Rajesh and Dr. Nupur Talwar. The police alleged that the Talwars had killed Aarushi and Hemraj in a fit of rage after discovering them in a compromising position. This theory was heavily debated and criticized, especially due to the lack of concrete evidence. The forensic analysis conducted during the investigation revealed inconsistencies and gaps. Crucial evidence, such as fingerprints and blood samples, were either contaminated or not properly collected. The CBI, Central Bureau of Investigation, took over the case after public outcry and media pressure, but they too faced challenges in piecing together a coherent narrative from the available evidence. The case proceeded through a series of legal battles, with the Talwar parents being charged and eventually convicted in 2013. The prosecution's case relied heavily on circumstantial evidence, and many legal experts and observers questioned the strength of the evidence against the Talwars. In 2017, the Allahabad High Court acquitted the Talwars, citing a lack of direct evidence and numerous investigative lapses. The investigation into the Noida double murder case left many questions unanswered. Despite extensive media coverage and public scrutiny, the true sequence of events on the night of the murders remains shrouded in mystery. The case highlighted significant issues within the Indian legal and investigative systems, prompting calls for reforms to prevent such mishandling in future cases. The Noida double murder case stands as a stark reminder of the complexities and challenges inherent in criminal investigations, especially in high-profile cases subjected to intense public and media scrutiny. In May 2008, Dr. Rajesh Talwar was arrested on suspicion of murdering his daughter Aarushi and their domestic help, Hemraj. The police alleged that the murders were a result of a sudden rage after finding Aarushi and Hemraj in a compromising position. Nupur Talwar was also arrested later, and both parents faced charges of murder, destruction of evidence, and conspiracy. The prosecution's case relied heavily on circumstantial evidence. They argued that the Talwars had the motive and the opportunity to commit the murders. Key pieces of evidence included the recovery of a golf club from the Talwar residence, which the prosecution claimed was the murder weapon, and discrepancies in the parents' statements. Forensic evidence, such as bloodstains and the positioning of the bodies, was also presented to support the prosecution's narrative. The defense argued that the evidence against the Talwars was flimsy and circumstantial. They highlighted the investigative lapses and contamination of the crime scene. The defense also pointed out alternative suspects, including other domestic workers and acquaintances, suggesting that the real perpetrators were not properly investigated. In November 2013, the Ghaziabad Special CBI Court convicted Rajesh and Nupur Talwar of the murders and sentenced them to life imprisonment. The verdict was met with mixed reactions, with some believing in the parents' guilt while others argued that the conviction was based on weak evidence and flawed investigation. The Talwars appealed the conviction, and in October 2017, the Allahabad High Court acquitted them, citing a lack of direct evidence and numerous investigative lapses. The High Court criticized the CBI for its handling of the case and ruled that the evidence presented did not conclusively prove the Talwars' guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. The case attracted widespread media coverage, often sensationalizing the details and influencing public opinion. The media's portrayal of the Talwars and the intense scrutiny they faced added another layer of complexity to the legal proceedings. The case also sparked debates on the criminal justice system in India and the role of media in high-profile cases. The legal saga of the Noida double murder case underscores the challenges in securing justice amidst public pressure and flawed investigations. The acquittal of the Talwars, after years of legal battles, leaves the case unresolved, with the true perpetrators of the crime still unknown. The 2008 Noida double murder case quickly became one of India's most sensationalized and controversial criminal investigations, primarily due to extensive media coverage that often blurred the lines between factual reporting and speculative sensationalism. From the moment Aarushi Talwar's body was discovered, the media descended on the case with fervor. News channels, newspapers, and online platforms provided round-the-clock coverage, often speculating wildly about the circumstances of the murders and the potential suspects. The portrayal of Aarushi, her family, and Hemraj was frequently sensationalized, with intimate details of their lives broadcast to the public. The intense media scrutiny had a significant impact on the investigation. Public opinion was heavily influenced by the often biased and unverified reports, leading to a trial by media that vilified the Talwar family before the legal proceedings had even begun. The media's portrayal of the case ranged from insinuations of sexual misconduct to allegations of an honor killing, each new theory more provocative than the last. The police investigation was plagued by numerous controversies, many of which were amplified by the media. Key pieces of evidence were mishandled or overlooked entirely, and the crime scene was not properly secured, leading to contamination. These lapses fueled widespread criticism of the police and investigative agencies, questioning their competence and integrity. The Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, which took over the case due to public pressure, also faced scrutiny. The CBI's investigation produced conflicting theories and inconclusive evidence, further complicating the case. Media reports often highlighted these inconsistencies, creating a narrative of confusion and incompetence. The relentless media coverage shaped public perception of the case in profound ways. The Talwars were subject to intense scrutiny and public judgment, with many convinced of their guilt due to the sensational nature of the reports. This public pressure influenced the course of the investigation and the legal proceedings, adding another layer of complexity to an already convoluted case. The case also sparked broader debates about the role of the media in criminal investigations. Critics argued that the media's approach was irresponsible and harmful, prioritizing sensationalism over accuracy and fairness. The coverage of the Noida double murder case became a cautionary tale about the potential dangers of media influence on public opinion and the justice system. In the aftermath of the case, there were calls for reforms in both investigative procedures and media practices. The case highlighted the need for more rigorous and impartial investigative processes, free from external pressures and biases. It also underscored the importance of responsible journalism, emphasizing the need for accurate reporting and ethical standards in covering sensitive criminal cases. The Noida double murder case remains a stark example of how media coverage can shape, and sometimes distort, the course of justice. The controversies and sensationalism surrounding the case have left a lasting impact on the Indian legal and media landscape, prompting ongoing discussions about the balance between public interest and responsible reporting. As of now, the true perpetrators of the murders have not been conclusively identified. The acquittal of Dr. Rajesh and Dr. Nupur Talwar by the Allahabad High Court in 2017 marked a significant turning point, as the court cited a lack of direct evidence and numerous investigative flaws. The case, once a focal point of national attention, has since faded from the headlines, but the scars it left on the Talwar family and the justice system remain. The Noida double murder case exposed significant weaknesses within the Indian investigative and judicial systems. The mishandling of the crime scene, the contamination of evidence, and the conflicting theories presented by different investigative agencies highlighted the need for more rigorous and professional investigative practices. The case also underscored the importance of maintaining impartiality and objectivity in the face of intense media scrutiny and public pressure. The case sparked widespread debates about the role of media in criminal investigations. The sensationalist coverage and trial by media that the Talwars faced demonstrated the potential dangers of media overreach and the impact it can have on the lives of those involved. It called for a more ethical and responsible approach to journalism, particularly in high-profile cases. The Noida double murder case serves as a stark reminder of the complexities and challenges inherent in the pursuit of justice. It highlights the need for continual improvements in forensic science, investigative techniques, and judicial processes to ensure that justice is served fairly and accurately. The case remains a topic of study and discussion among legal professionals, journalists, and the general public, serving as a catalyst for ongoing reforms and reflections on the Indian legal system. As we wrap up this episode on the 2008 Noida double murder case, we encourage our listeners to reflect on the broader implications of this tragic event. Justice for Aarushi Talwar and Hemraj Banjade remains elusive, but we can all contribute to a more just and fair society. Here's how you can help. Support charities and initiatives. Consider donating to organizations that work towards improving the criminal justice system, supporting victims of crime, and advocating for legal reforms. Some reputable organizations include PREAS, Common Cause, and Human Rights Law Network. Stay informed, educate yourself about the flaws in the investigative process and the importance of forensic science. Knowledge is power, and being informed can help you advocate for better practices and reforms in the justice system. Advocate for responsible journalism. Support media outlets and journalists who prioritize ethical reporting and factual accuracy. Responsible journalism plays a crucial role in ensuring that public discourse around criminal cases remains fair and just. Resources for affected listeners. If you or someone you know has been affected by issues similar to those discussed in this episode, here are some resources that may provide support and assistance. Victim Support Services. Organizations like Crime Victims Helpline and Victim Support offer assistance, counseling, and legal support to victims of crime and their families. Legal aid and advice. For those seeking legal help, Legal Services Corporation and Human Rights Law Network provide resources and support for accessing legal aid. Mental health support. Experiencing or witnessing crime can have a significant impact on mental health. Resources such as National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI, and Mental Health Foundation offer support and information on managing mental health issues. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of India's most complex and controversial cases. Your engagement and support can make a difference in advocating for justice and supporting those affected by crime. Stay tuned for our next episode, and remember to subscribe and share 22 with your friends and family.